3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
It's Monday. It's Monday. It really is. 7 o'clock. And that can mean only one thing. It's time for Reading the Signs, where me, Comedy John Ryan, and my comedian pals from all over the world are going to be talking about comedy, well-being, why we do it, how we cope. And that's where we need your help. We need you to send us your top tips for well-being. Be part of the show. Drop a comment in the box on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the mensradiostation.com website. It's going to be a great show, much better than last week. What we're trying to do is think exceptional, which, funnily enough, is the motto of WJ, our show sponsors. WJ are the UK's leading road marking and highway maintenance company. They're working with us, we're working with you. Let's get to it. Whoa! Welcome along to another episode of Reading the Signs with me, John Ryan. Special one tonight. Very welcome in the hillside. Very excited tonight in this house. It's an international theme we've got. That's him. That's the bloke we're having. But before we start looking at his gorgeous face, let's talk about me. How's your week been, everyone? What have you been up to? It's been a while, I feel, since we last spoke. Well, it's only been a week. I am currently bobbing somewhere around the Mediterranean, I believe, while this is going out. But obviously tonight we're doing it as live. It's been a great week, really. The clocks have gone back, so it's nice and cold. I love the cold, as I said last week. All you lovely people who love the sunshine in your bikinis and your six-packs and sitting out there getting basted like pigs. Well, I hate the summer. I don't like it. I don't like the sunshine. It's no good for me. As you can see, I'm going pink under these lights. So the winter is my season, and the weather, rather much like our mental health, it's dependent on who's experiencing it. So today is cold and dark and rainy. I love it. I love it. Cuddling on a couch, a little hot chocolate and a blanket. Oh, it's great. Whereas in the summertime, when it's hot and sunny and horrible, I don't like it. What I see as a good day, you see as a bad day. And that's how our mental health works, really. We all experiencing it in different ways. We can be experiencing the same thing, but having different feelings about it. It's just something to remember for tonight. So, yeah, it has been an interesting week. We're gearing up for Christmas in our house. Natasha, the love of my life, the reason for my being, etc., she will be taking your comments tonight in the box. If you have any comments, especially Phil's friends, please be aware that you're going to be told that you're loved. I think you're probably all right, but she will love you because she loves everyone. So do leave your comments in the box. Let us know what you're thinking and how you are feeling. But Natasha puts a Christmas tree up in July if she can. She will start buying Christmas presents on Boxing Day. Now, that's not a mental health problem. That is just someone who just gets so excited, sometimes so much so that she can't even concentrate. But she will be concentrating tonight whilst looking, no doubt, at the Christmas tree, which hasn't been taken down probably from last year. Her ideal place to live would be Bedford Falls, the town from It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life, James Stewart. Well, I don't know what's going on here. That's my attempt at an impression of James Stewart there. Hello to everyone that comes every week. If you are listening to us on Facebook Live or Insta or Twitter or YouTube or SoundCloud or on the Dulux Radio Network or the mensradiostation.com or any of Phil's friends who are sitting in the pub in Wales land listening to Die, the Memory Man, going, I remember everything. We don't have communications. I just listen and I repeat it the whole show. What can I tell you about tonight's guest? I'm just chuffed to bits to get him on because he's much in demand. In an ideal world, this man would be, never mind Prince Charles, Prince of Wales. This is the Prince of Wales. This is the guy that should be a name on everyone's lips. He should be a household name. A proper all-round entertainer, a funny guy, a lovely man. Talks very highly of his wife and his family when you meet him, and that sets him aside from a lot of the performers that I work with, that he's just very much happier at home, but works to provide for that home, which is probably why he's got the most extravagant wallpaper of any guest that we've ever had on this show. In years to come, Time Team will dig up his house and think some kind of Welsh millionaire lived here. Look at the luxury wallpaper. So, Reading the Signs audiences, do let us know that you're there. Put your comments in the box and do let us know your thoughts. Please welcome. It's Phil Doyle. Can you believe it? It's Phil Doyle. He's really here. Can't get over it.
Yeah.
Good evening. Hello, Wales. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just struggling a bit with the.
Hang on.
Yeah. We've only got dial up in Wales.
It's the satellite over Merthyr, isn't it? It's the satellite over Merthyr.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you over there.
Yeah, it's a dial up. It is.
It's a dial up. First things first. Tell us about the wallpaper. Yeah. What's with the wallpaper? You must be like
my daughter's bedroom, and I did this wallpaper in. Can you believe that? My brother can't even cut the grass. He gets someone in to cut the grass, but I'm a hands-on guy.
Started already. We're going to start picking on the brother. I see how that works.
Yeah.
Is it a local attraction, that wallpaper? Is it?
Well, it was on sale, and my daughter picked it, and she wanted it, and she's working away now, so I use her bedroom as your office, as the wife signing room, really.
What signing room? Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Yeah. What are you up to today, then?
Great to see you, man. Great to see you, and thanks for having me on. And
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we needed an international feel for the night, and
exactly.
I just thought you would be ideal for it, absolutely perfect for it. So tell us what you've been doing today, then, Phil. What have you been up to today, mate?
I cooked Sunday dinner. Fair play to me. I told you I'm a good cook. I did a nice shoulder of Welsh lamb and roasts, the whole caboose. Absolutely fantastic. And the gravy, everything. I even taught my missus how to cook.
Mate, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I could flip it. I could do anything.
Mate, you're a man of many talents.
Cooking.
And you haven't even got wires in them headphones. They're more like ear defenders, aren't they?
I know these they're wireless, but they're noise. You can't hear anything, so I can just hear you, and that's it. They're sort of noise cancelling things.
That's all we need for the next hour. Is Tasha has already picked up on the fact that she wants that wallpaper now, but I'm trying to build her a bar at the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
So she wants that wallpaper. That's enough talking about her. Tell us, Phil, when you was growing up, how many in your family, brothers and sisters? What we got?
Only my one brother. Me and my brother Mike. He's 4 years older. You heard him. You've worked with Mike, haven't you?
I've worked with him. Yeah. Fantastic performer, mate. Fantastic. My second favourite Doyle is my second favourite. Doyle, let's just get that clear before you start.
Yeah, I'm your number one.
I'm not talking in these circumstances, man.
We had a great time, man, on that Britannia, huh? No.
So when how did you work then? When you got two comedians in the family, as your boys, as you're growing up, were you competing with each other? Did you do a double act? How did it work?
Oh, we've competed all our lives, even over the who's having the chicken leg on a Sunday. It was always like that, competing for everything. We fought, we've argued, but we love each other. We've fallen out a few times, but we're both in the same business. It's tough, it's hard to be just brothers, because it's difficult because we're in the same. I don't know why, but it is. You get
you're in the same game. But that's fair enough.
Yeah.
How does it work then? So as kids growing up together, did you go, he's funny, I'm going to be funny, or did you compete at the dinner table, or what happened?
Yeah, I loved what he does. I used to go with him when he started off doing the workingmen's clubs in Wales. A real tough upbringing, in show business, as anyone will tell you, and hard places, And I used to go with him, just help him with the gear and all that. He was about 14, 15, 16, something like that. And I go with him everywhere. And I just loved it. I loved what he did. He's still probably one of my favorite acts of all time. I've always looked up to him. He's a fantastic act, brilliant singer. And he's done so much in the business. And obviously, I think it's like anything. It's like everyone's got an idol or whatever. And I think probably Mike was mine at the time, where others would have Elvis or the Carpenters or whatever. I just looked at him and thought, I'd love to do that.
I want to be doing that.
Yeah.
And then, so when you was kids, then was there a lot of laughter in the house? Was there? How did it work out?
Yeah, we've always been the same. The two of us, always messing around. We were rubbish in school, not like you, mate. We didn't have any A levels and we're like a lot of comedians. We just didn't. I was always messing about. I always wanted a reaction. I always loved if I could get a reaction out of the teacher, or probably the kids in school hated the sight of me because ruined their chances or whatever. But I had a love-hate thing with the teachers. They absolutely loved me and hated me, and but I had a fantastic time. I never ever sort of mixed school. Did you, what do you call it up in London there? Yeah, I never did.
What school? Mixed.
Mitched. Like truant, play truant or whatever.
Are you speaking Welsh, Phil? Did you just go all Welsh nationalist on me?
In school. No, I just didn't. I didn't not go to school. I went to school, but I never did any lessons. I just messed around and just did my own thing. Went to a few lessons if I wanted to, but I always stayed on the premises, so they never ever caught up with me really. Never. But I had a brilliant time. Brilliant time.
Tasha in the box has just said that we call it bunking off at school.
Bunking off.
Gwyneth Jones, so excited to watch Phil. Very proud of him in Carmarthen because we're a beautiful family. Oh, look at that! They'll get out and support their boy, don't they? All get out and support their boy.
That Gwyneth, a babysat for me. She, when I was a kid.
Yeah. So you're at school, you're laughing and joking. What did you do when you left school?
A lot of things. I didn't have any qualifications to talk of really. I had about 4 GCSEs or whatever, and didn't really know where I was going. And I've always been a good cook. I told you that, didn't I? When I was on the ship,
many times. Every time you get the opportunity.
And I love barbecuing and rotisserie and all the rest of it. But anyway, I went to college and I did hotel catering and chefing and did the City and Guilds course, passed the course, but then went to work as a chef, and I hated every minute of it, to be honest. The split shifts, it was like in for 4 hours, then go home for 2 hours, get back in for 3 hours, and go home for 2 hours, and then back in till 10 o'clock. And I absolutely bloody hated it, to be honest. And then, but I was singing all the time in work, and everyone said, "Well, why don't you just go around the clubs or do comedy like your brother?" And I said, "Well, I'd love to," but so I was always singing. It was like cooking, and I was doing all the business. And in the end, people they said, "You're getting on our nerves. Just go and do it." And basically, I left. I left. It was a good job. I was head chef it was a 3-star hotel at the time in Carmarthen, where I'm from, the Boar's Head, and I had a fantastic job, really good money. And I left that to go to Butlins as a redcoat, and I was on 50. It went from about 350 quid a week down to 50 quid a week, and it was like, wow. But it was the best job I ever done in my life. It was just me,
Where was the Butlins? Which one?
Barry Island.
Barry. Hey, listen, Barry. Mate. Gavin and Stacey, yeah.
Oh, I could. Fantastic stories there. Brilliant place.
But obviously, for legal reasons, we can't go into those.
We can't go into that.
So you're working as a redcoat, and did you get involved in the Ents? What was your speciality? Did you do the comedy or the singing or what?
Singing mostly. Yeah, I started off singing, and I went in the redcoat show and had a good part in that, and did another. They let me do my own set on my own in the Pig and Whistle, they called it. It was like a big show bar. And I'll be honest, the best start in life you could ever have, because where else would you be able to sing and perform in front of like 2,000 people at a time? As a non-professional, obviously, I was just like a redcoat, so you learn your trade really. Before I went round the clubs, I was used to a big audience, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. It was I couldn't wait for the redcoat show every week, and the camaraderie, the friends. We're still friends today. We go on a couple of reunions. I've been on a couple of them down in Torquay. They have it down there because there's nothing left in Barry, really, to do with Butlin. So they hold these reunions around the country, and they're absolutely fantastic. Everyone's in a great, same mindset. We've all done the job. We have a good laugh. We laugh at each other. We all go around the town and pretend we're kids again. It's fantastic. But after that, then I went on to doing the clubs. Like my brother. And so
how old was you? Really how old would you have been then?
Butlins. I was in college till I was 20, and then I went to Butlins till I was about 22, and then I went around the clubs. So 1987, 88, something like that. And it was I did holiday parks, Haven and Pontins and Butlins, and I was like a travel agent, I was going around the country doing
Was
like
this just in, wasn't
150,000
just
miles.
Wales? Wasn't just in Wales?
No, England, Scotland, everywhere, and like it was great. When the agent tells you about the job, I'll never forget this agent saying, "Oh, Phil, it's £1,400," and I was going, "Oh, that's fantastic! Yeah, per fortnight." I was like,
Yeah.
so I had to work every night of the week, But it was like 14 different shows. It was like 100 quid, and it was rubbish money, and I didn't make anything out of it. My missus came with me. We stayed in caravans and rough hotels, you've done it yourself. You've gone on gigs, but these, we did chalets and all sorts of, and they were quite rough in those days, But I'd never asked that some of the hotels and the chalets and Isle of Wight, and you had to go down to Cornwall, up to north of England. You'd go to Skegness, then over to North Wales. It was like I put about 170,000 miles on the car that season, and I went through
What
two
was the aim?
gearboxes.
What was the dream when you started out?
Well, I just wanted to be successful and do this job and make a living at it, really, and which I did, and I have up until I'm still doing it today. So I've been lucky enough to stay in the business because working men's clubs sort of ended as such. I know they're still open, and there will be people saying, "Oh, we're doing very well," but they're few and far between. When I was working the clubs, and Mike, my brother, God, you could work 6-7 nights a week. You could do 2 clubs a night. It was just fantastic. The amount of work that was there. You could work every night of the week. You had to turn people down. You had to turn gigs down because you just couldn't physically do it. And
then
they went into
what
decline,
happened?
didn't they?
First time you went to do shows in England, did you notice a difference?
Yeah, I was terrified. I was terrified because I thought they're not going to understand me. They're not going to like me. Everyone will hate me because I'm Welsh. I'd only ever done sort of Welsh working men's clubs, and then, but it was quite the opposite. Everyone loved it. They loved the accent. They loved. I've always found it positive, and like you've seen me on cruise ships, and a lot of people love that part of the accent, the way, and you know you don't realize how people think you sound, when you're from other people in the world. You think, oh, you don't like your accent. You think, oh, is it gonna be understood? Is it gonna work? Are they gonna understand? Is my comedy, is it transferable to some other countries? It's like when you work with Americans, you think, is the comedy gonna, will they understand what I'm on about? Because it is so different out there. And well, I
But
find the Americans fantastic, brilliant.
You've got a vulnerability about you as a performer because, in the words of Michael Caine, you're a big man, but you're out of shape, right? You're a big man,
Yeah.
but you've got you're a big man, but you're out of shape. But you've got that vulnerability on stage. You've got a great voice, but also that kind of there's the Welsh. That Welsh accent is, pretty cute, really, isn't it? It's not like one of them kind of, hey, what are you looking at it then? What's going on here then? It's not one of them ones. It's like, sort of, hello, I've lost my
It's your
trousers.
Welsh
Can you help
accent.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those kind of.
Yeah, well, where I live now, I live in the Rhondda, and I'm from West Wales, Southwest Wales, and people around here where I live now, and I've been living here 20 years, they can detect that I'm from sort of West Wales. They go, "Oh, you're awful Welshy." I mean, what? I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know. I sound any different to them, and but there is so many different accents in even.
I've
Like
got to
you
be
say,
honest. If a Welsh person is telling you that you're awful Welshy, I think
yeah.
am I?
Am I? Is it?
So a good friend of mine, a Welsh comedian, Noel James, by now he would have punched me 3 times already. He would have gone,
Yeah.
what's funny about Wales then? What's funny about it? Like, what's the
He's
joke?
yeah.
What's the joke? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
very
he's very
proud. And honestly, I've seen him stop a
very
show
funny guy.
to pull someone up and then go back. He's a hilariously funny man. But it's
Lovely, isn't he?
interesting because people see England, like, we go, well, that's Wales. But I know that the the North Welsh are different to the South Welsh.
They are, yeah. It's, well, North Wales, yeah, no, yeah.
Well, if you go very
a
North
total,
Wales, it's more
it's a
like that, isn't
very,
it? I live in Cornwall. I live in.
yeah, you've got like
Yeah.
Scouse sounding
Yeah.
North Walians as well, and Flint people are sounding, and I like it. They got a bit of, it's mad.
Yeah.
It's there's so many accents. It's like you would know. To me, a London accent's a London accent, but like to you, you probably know somebody's from Essex or from North London or from South London or from Croydon. You'd think, oh, he's not, but I wouldn't. So it's very similar, isn't it?
Well, again, because where we're from, we'll say, hello, all right, how you doing? But if you went a mile down the road, they would say, so it's slightly, not racist, because it's a European accent. So it's just Europeans having a go at other Europeans. Not racist at all, not even slightly.
No, that's true.
So just for anyone who is now joining us on Reading the Science with me, John Ryan, or listening to us on SoundCloud or YouTube or any of the other social media networks, I'm going to say thanks to WJ, our show sponsors, who are the UK's leading road marking experts, who they're really committed to this whole thing that I'm doing. So thank you to WJ. I'm joined tonight by the international superstar that is Phil Doyle. Some say the best thing to come out of Wales since the M4. So, but no pressure. Are you happy now that you don't have to pay to get in and out?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's made a heck of a difference,
Because, hang on, we've got royalty. We've got Doyle royalty. Royal Doyle, Mike Doyle.
Oh, Mike. Are you Mike? Yes.
Do you know, I feel like I'm a counsellor just bringing you two together. Can you just stop this Doyle family loving? I feel like I'm in a threesome and I'm in the middle. What's going on? Come on, boys. But Mike, fantastic performer as well, Mike, who I have worked with, but never got drunk with. So we've got that little kind of, got that little
yeah.
He didn't. He's too professional.
With anybody, even Londoners.
He's too professional, mate.
Yeah.
Hey? I've never seen him aroused. I've never seen him aroused by a ham sandwich. Like, oh, look at that! Look at that sandwich! Look at that! Oh, there's no meat in there. That's a dinner for four. That is. So
you know me, don't you, John? Yeah.
You got to say that down Valencia. You're like,
have you bought
look at this! Look at that meat!
When's the buffet open?
I could take half of that meat out of that sandwich, and I'll have another meal out of it. So we've got we've got Larissa Sakino giving us just a lovely little. I know she's crying. Larissa, if you've been abducted, and this is, you couldn't ring anyone, but you've got on.
It's the only number she could find.
Facebook. Look at this, filling out me. It's like
I'll try. Yeah, put the tracker on. I'll be there. Me and my brother will be over there now. Sort you out.
Brilliant. So then you started. You go on the ships, and. How did you take how did that work out for you?
Well, I started. It was funny how it happened. It normally happens by chance. A lot of people go to these showcases to get on cruise ships, and they try and try. But I was just sat in the house one night watching telly, and the phone went, and this agent said, "Are you busy for the next week?" I said, "No. Do you want to go to St. Lucia tomorrow on a cruise ship?" And I went.
Hang on. Did this man identify himself as a cruise ship booker? They go, hello, Doyle. Do you want to watch a new ship tomorrow? Was he one of them? Was he go, hello?
And it was dial-up then as well, yeah. It took a while to get through to me.
He was literally dial-up.
Yeah, this guy, and I went on to, and it was Air Tours. I don't know if you remember Air Tours. They had a couple of cruise ships called Sun Cruises, and I basically flew the next day, and the rest is history. It's just I had a fantastic time, and been doing it for donkey's years. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. And
but how did you feel? Because although you're very laid back and relaxed, right? You got a very laid back persona, but mate, you are a proper professional when it's time to it's like working with you. It's like working with a boxer. I can't drink like for 36 hours. I can't drink 36 hours for a gig. I've got to stay calm. I'm like, get it down, you mate. Go on. Be drunky, Doyle.
No,
very professional.
I learned that off Mike, my brother. He was the same. He just isn't. I can't. I cannot drink a pint or do. I can't. The day before even. I just stay off it completely, and because. I'm just terrified. I'll forget what I'm doing, because I've seen so many go by the wayside. I won't mention names, but I've seen comics that'll get absolutely blitzed and even just before going on, and I remember a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but they were introducing him on a ship, and they were, ladies and gentlemen, and the band were playing, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, no sign, and he's in the bar.
That's brilliant.
Just
that's brilliant.
like, yeah, but
Phoenix Nights.
In his favor, he was fantastic. He went down a storm. I'm not saying he didn't, and I'm not saying
at the bar.
He went down, at the bar. He stormed it.
At the bar. Oh, I should have seen me earlier.
But he absolutely he buried him. Brilliant night. And I said to him then, I said, I just couldn't do that. I physically, mentally couldn't do it, because I'd be terrified. I'd forget what I was doing. I've just got to be switched on and totally professional about it, and I think it was installed with him, and like Mike has always been the same, So, once the show's over, I'll go and have a few with everybody,
But I was fascinated by that, because saying, tomorrow, what we can do tomorrow? You're like, oh no, I'm not about tomorrow. I've got to focus on my show. I was like, you're not working till the next day, you loon. What's the matter with you? You're like, no, I've got to do it properly. And then, you got all in the zone. It was like working with Cristiano Ronaldo. It was, and you just, I felt like I was Trevor Hockey or someone. It's just one of them old 1970s. And I've got a pint in my hand and my jeans. I'm like, I better be inspired by this bloke.
You said to me, I'm not dressing up, and you didn't. You just, you just turned up, didn't you, with a pint in your hand and.
Mate, potatoes. I'm not dressing up because
you were brilliant, mate. You were brilliant. I loved your show. I did.
But what's interesting for me, though, then, because obviously you work, because for people listening on the ship, it's like if you remember the film Titanic, when you've got the first class passengers upstairs and you've got the rest of us below decks locked in. So Phil would be at one end of the ship in the theatre with a towel and water provided. And I was at the other end in one of the lifeboats, and he's in his cabin with his balcony.
You turned about 1,000 people against me because you said I had a suite and you were in deck -8 and inside cabin with no water and on a toilet.
I was in a boat being pulled along behind.
That Welsh comedian's got a nice suite. Everyone hated me then.
You had a lift, an elevator for our American friends. You had an elevator in yours.
Two floors.
What was just for anyone listening? We recently did a cruise, and what was interesting for me, and it always has been. So again, I know we're mentioning Mike quite a lot, but I watch people like yourself, like Mike, guys who do the theatres, and it's like a proper event. It's like a proper show, right? And
you were saying that when we were on, didn't you?
I did, man. I saw your brother doing Nessun Dorma. I saw you doing that song that I nearly got to own, Loch Lomond.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
So, but we watch you in the theatre, and you go, "Wow, that's an event. We're all in this big theatre." And then they walk down the boat, and they come into this pub, basically, with us at the other end. And what fascinated me about you and other acts I've seen who do the theatre is that there's just some burning desire to stand in this little pub at the back of the ship and just let loose rather than have to do this whole formatted, well-rounded show. And yet we look at you lot going, oh, mate, this is brilliant. Song, gags, callback, brilliant. Whereas on our circuit, it's much more, you can just talk about your thumb. Oh, look, I've got that. Oh, it does that. Yeah. And that one does it as well. Great.
Yeah.
And it's just the split between the alternate circuit and your circuit, which I call the talented circuit, where you guys, it's much more a profession, and it's much more considered than what we do. We turn up in jeans and a t-shirt and just talk. Yeah. And it fascinates me why you feel the need to want to impress or work at. We did talk about. I said I'd get you loads of gigs for 50 quid in a room above.
You've hit the nail on the head. And I've talked to my brother about this. The alternative circuit was there years ago. We both could have gone in for it, and we were asked to do it. Both of us, we could have gone down that road, but we both had wives, we both had kids, we both had mortgages. I mean, it was my job. Whereas the alternative circuit in those days, you had to. I mean, I got asked. I told you, Jongleurs. Was it not Jongleurs? The Glee Club in Cardiff rang me up when they first opened. They said, "Oh, hi Phil, we'd like you to be headliner." You know, and I went, "Oh, fantastic." You know, and at the time I was probably on about 300 quid, 250 a night in the workingmen's clubs, talking 20 odd years ago. But the Glee Club, to be a headliner, so there was like 4, 5, 6 comics on before you. They wanted me to go on and do 35, 40 minutes, and it was like 150 quid.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you know, for someone who's, whereas I'd get offered I'd do like, you know, I don't know, Aberystwyth Workingmen's Club or whatever for 350 quid, and it was a no-brainer for me. In the long run, it would have probably been better to go down the alternate route, because
Why?
there's more chance of being on TV. There's more chance of being seen by top agents and things like that. Whereas the scene we're on, it was not looked at as, it was fading that out. You know, it was all,
yeah, but surely
mainstream guys. You know,
if the job description is make them laugh.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so we've had
Dave.
Dave Wimble's posted a message saying hi to Phil and Mike. Worked with both of you over the years, both very funny men, right?
Thank you, Dave.
Now, thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Dave Wimble.
Dave, all right, all
right, Dave.
So the thing is, though, that kind of, when you go to Tesco's, they don't care where you got the money from. If you did it at a working men's club, or so. When I first started, we talked about this. I never wanted to be a comedian, and I still don't see myself as a comedian, right? So I can see that, yeah. Thank you. When I got asked to do a working men's club, I'm like, yeah, because I used to go to those places. And it's like when I got asked to do Butlins, I'm like, oh my goodness, I used to go to Butlins. I wanted to go on a cruise. One of my best friends right now is on Britannia on holiday. So we would go on holiday to those kind of places. And then you just sort of think that kind of snobbery that exists, it's just mind-boggling.
Do you know something? It was basically about money. It was with me. It wasn't about who I make laugh, whether I was good enough to do that circuit. It was basically, I had a house to pay for, and to pay my mortgage, I had to do workingmen's clubs, all men dinners. I had to do after dinner speaking. I went down that road. If I was rich enough, I would have gone the alternate route and done the you know, off the wall clubs and Glee clubs and jongleurs and all that. I would have done that because I would have tailored my act to do that. But it wasn't viable, and it still isn't. You know, as you know what I mean. You said to me, there's a gig up in London that the maximum they pay is 200 quid. Well, you know, I do it for you because perhaps me and you can go out and have a meal, and we can meet up, and it'll be a chance to come up and see you. But for me to do that, I'd have to put I don't know, 60, 80 quid of petrol in the car. You know, you'd spend probably me and you have a couple of beers. That's 100 quid. You know, it's a no-brainer, really. That's why I had to go.
I just want to make something very clear here. I never said 200, right? I think I said 120.
All right, there was 80 quid for you. That's right. That's commission, yeah.
So again, one of the other things, because hanging out with you, right? Like, you're just naturally funny. You're just a funny bloke. But what I thought when I started doing comedy,
I know this is really serious for me. This is quite difficult for me because you know what I'm like.
I can see that. Yeah. I thought when I first started doing comedy, I thought all comedians would be like you. I thought they'd just be funny blokes, right? I know you've got your kind of quiet, kind of moody side, right? But just a funny bloke, just affable, genial, good company. But I could not tell you how shocked I was, how miserable they all were. And then that's when I kind of realised that performers, they tend to have a darker bit where they struggle. So I wonder, like, how did you cope with lockdown when there was no audience to perform to?
Well, it was awful. It was, you know, there was like lack of people, and I'm always away on cruise ships, working mostly. So waking up in the house every day, you know, with the same people. My wife, I mean, I hardly ever saw my wife, you know. It was difficult. I just sat there, didn't know what to do, and basically we walked. Everybody did the same things, didn't they? You know, some people just sat there and watched 18 series of Netflix, and but I started doing a bit of walking, and as a family, we went out. We did some nice things. There was nice things come out of it. You know, socializing, but it was hard. It was hard just to be without that audience, to be without. When I went on the Britannia with you, it was the first. Me and John, we just done 2 weeks on the first med cruise since 2 years. This was the first P&O ship to leave Britain, and we were on it. Me and you. And do you know something? It was unbelievable. It was the best 2 weeks. Ever, and especially with you on
apart from your honeymoon.
Oh, much better than that. That was hopeless. That was the bloody honeymoon.
Hang on. Someone's going to get
I wish I'd gone with you.
Hang on. There's someone else who's going to get on your case if you don't mention them. That made the 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Oh,
what's her name?
Oh, Izzy, Paloma.
Yeah, Izzy was good.
We had a bunch. I've never known it. A bunch of acts, and Izzy, I think, is listening tonight. She's on Iona. Yeah. But there was Hannah. There was Hannah Goodman, brilliant singer. There was Paloma. Well, I call her Paloma. That was Izzy. But Paloma Faith, absolutely world class. Exactly like
pure.
Lives like
pure.
Sounds like her. Looks like her. Eats like her. Dresses like her. Breathes like her. And. We had Eric Clapton, Paul, outstanding. We just had and Brett Cave, the pianist.
Any non-performers that was with us?
Mel Mellors was on.
Look at the screen, mate. Look at the screen.
Hang on, who's there?
Who's in the box?
Who's in the box?
Who's messaging people? Oh dear, this just got really awkward. This got really uncomfortable. There was someone else with us on that trip who looked out for you and took care of you.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah. What's her name now? Of course, Tash. Well, you and Tash are together. You were together, weren't you? You lucky bugger. You had somebody to go home to every night, didn't you?
No, because you and Brett took her most of the evenings. I was at work. But
you stitched me up. You stitched me and Tash up.
You and Tash were out having dinner every night while I was watching the other shows.
Me and Tash were eating.
So during lockdown, then, so you found it tough times.
Oh, right? It was really hard.
Did you ever think about any other work you could do?
I did, and I tried. Do you know? I didn't realize. I'm 57 now. I know, don't look it, do I? But
no, you don't. Look at that wallpaper behind you,
But I always thought, it just, people say, oh, it doesn't, it catches up on you, and you think, hang on a minute. I tried for about 30 jobs. I mean, Asda's, delivery, Tesco's, not a look in. Nobody even replied to me. And I'm sure it's an age thing. It's got to be. Because my CV, they've looked at it and gone, oh, soon as he's back on the ships, he's going to drop us like a stone, and
yeah.
It was so difficult, sometimes I've even thought of just rip the CV up and just say, look, I've been out of work for 20 years and I need the job. I'd probably get the job then, but if you put the truth down that you worked on cruise ships for 25 years, they're just not gonna give you the time of day, It's like, oh, look at this guy. He's not gonna deliver bloody groceries, But I tried. Oh, you won't believe what I tried. I tried everything, everything. I did a bit of volunteer work. I sold scratch cards for the Eczema Society. I did a couple of those, and
shocking.
Yeah,
shocking.
Yeah. But that's all I could.
So well.
It's the only job.
So what do you think you would do then if it all ended tomorrow? Then, and how are you going to provide luxury wallpaper for the rest of the house?
Well. Do you know, I did think about giving it up in lockdown. I thought, well, look, it's not going to go back. And most people thought that way, didn't they? They thought, look, and when we were in Barcelona that day, a couple of weeks ago, and I honestly didn't think I'd see Spain again. It was going on and on. This lockdown was going on. And I thought, nah. Then they said cruises were going back, and they weren't ringing me and you. And I thought, oh, this is never going to happen again. This is, it's going to be. And then they said you couldn't get off the ship. You had to stay on the boat, and unless you were on an excursion, you could pay for excursion. Well, there's no point going away then, is there? If you're going to pay 200 quid for a excursion. So all that changed. Luckily for us, we were allowed to go off on our own. But there's all these laws and PLF forms and I got a brilliant manager who looks after me, Jo Martin. She fills all the forms in for me. She does everything. And she filled yours in as well. Well, more or less. I give her the link that she sent me.
Yeah.
Because it's so difficult, isn't it?
I'm not giving her
travel now.
commission. If that's what this is about, I'm not giving her a
Well,
commission.
I told her I was going to try and get you.
Tell her no. Tell her no.
Because
Didn't earn anything.
well, she did help you.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Mandy Callard Brady.
Mandy Collard, she was a red coat with me, Mandy, and she's been a family friend for, I don't know, 40 years since I was and her ex-husband, I say ex-husband, it's not an ex-husband, he passed away, bless him, Dave. He's my best friend in the world, and he was a red coat as well. And we've been friends ever since. She's godmother to my kids, and she's coming for Christmas as well. So see you at Christmas, man. And I got lovely friends on as well from Australia. Debbie and Jeff from Melbourne. They're on. Nice to see you. And we keep saying, I keep praying that I'm going to get a cruise down there, down to Melbourne, and then I'll stay.
See, this is the thing that people don't realise, that we're performers, but we hate having to pay for holidays. Don't we?
Oh yeah.
You're like, I could do a gig there. I could
I know.
do a gig and get. So we once went to the Caribbean and did a ship, and then booked somewhere on land, and then tried to get on another ship to kind of pay our return.
I know, I've done the same when we're on holiday. I think I look for a gig somewhere, So you're looking for anyone? Just
oh,
look, she can't wait.
Mandy says she can't wait for a Christmas dinner. Great chef. I think he's been a rotisserie, Mandy. I think he's doing your rotisserie on his luxury barbecue.
Yeah. You'll have to come down as well, John, and I'll do you a rotisserie chicken and.
But we want en suite on the sea view balcony.
You will.
All inclusive.
South wing.
I
haven't.
We got that. If I can just, if I just let people know who are just tuning in on the mensradiostation.com or on Deluxe Radio, or on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast on SoundCloud, thank you for coming along. And thanks to WJ, our show sponsors, who are the UK's leading road marking experts. And it's funny, sometimes when you listen to shows and I go, we're proudly sponsored by McGillicuddy's, the best piccalilli factory on the planet. But these guys, WJ, they're good. I know them all personally. And they're really good guys, and I really want to thank them.
What do they do, John? What are they?
They do the white lines, white lines down the motorways. They do signs on the floors outside of schools. They do the electrical sort of charging points. They do just loads, man. They're they're good people. But more importantly, they let their staff have one day off a month where they can go and do voluntary work. They're just good people, really good people. But what I was to ask you then, Phil, what's this? Yeah. Like, we meet the Welsh, and you're always very, very proud to be Welsh. What is it about Wales that gives you guys this natural? What is it?
We are. It's something in your soul. I don't know what it is. It's it doesn't happen in England. Does it? We have.
I think in the north a little bit.
St. David's Day is still celebrated in Wales in every school. They have a big concert, and even when I was a kid, it'd be a big concert in the morning and all Welsh songs and all celebration, and then you'd be left. You could go home then lunchtime. It was brilliant. We really make a big thing out of it. We always had to wear a bleak, with a safety pin, and it was fabulous. And the rugby is a big thing. That is it sort of separates us a little bit, because we are. I know we're a principality, but we we're proud of being our own country. We are, and we were, and still are, even though we're governed by, of course, England and whatever. But we're very, very much.
It's got a real strong sense of identity that comes across.
It is.
Anyone,
it is. And I can't put your finger on it. You ask anybody, and we're all the same. Every one of us.
The fact that you bring a Welsh towel on stage, you wear a Welsh G-string and nipple tassels, socks. Everything's Welsh. Carry a leak. Carry it all over you. So very strong identity, very strong sense of Welsh identity. Yeah. Very strong on family. I believe you've got a special day coming up on Tuesday.
We have, my 30th wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary, Lizzie. She's listening, and of course, my two kids. Jack, he's 17. He's going to be a doctor. He's hoping to go to medical school, so he's on his last year of A levels. And my daughter, she's a singer. She's down in Haylen Island working for Warner's, having a fantastic time down there. They really looked after her through the lockdown, because she was out to work. She was cruise director for Marella Cruises, assistant cruise director, and obviously everything stopped, so she was out to work. And Warner's offered her a job. Thank you to Matt Williams, my mate who's head of entertainment, said get her down here, and she's been looked after down there. She's loving it, She's and it's a full-time job, so good on her. She's
no, that's great. Tasha's just wishing you a happy 30-year wedding
thank you,
anniversary.
Tash.
Thank you. Tasha, you may have remembered you met her a couple of times.
My best mate. My best
so
mate.
here's the thing. So you've got the family. You're very proud of the family. Family comes first. That's a very, very clear message you send out to people, including your brother, your wife, your kids. Proud Welshman, and you're very paternal in that you care how you want to make sure that the wife's okay, make sure the kids are okay. How do you take care of you? What do you do about your own health?
Yeah, I had a bit of a scare recently, as you know. And it's funny, when the older you get these niggles, don't you? You're fit as a fiddle, and all of a sudden, you get a phone call. Could you come in and have a scan and do this? And it was the last 2 weeks have been the most. That's why I was supposed to be on with you, wasn't I? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of a scare, and I'll tell you, you know what happened, but I'll tell everybody. I had a scan on my liver. I don't know, 2012, and they said there was a small lump there, but it hasn't grown. Everything's fine, and they're keeping an eye on it. So earlier on in the year, during lockdown, my fantastic surgeon, consultant, said to send you for another scan to see if everything's okay. And I seen him 2 weeks ago, couple of 3-4 days before going on a cruise, and he said, not good news. It's grown. I went, yeah. It's not good news. So we're gonna basically send you for an MRI, an urgent one. You'll have it, within days. And I went, so I had to pull a cruise out, which was devastating because I haven't worked for 2 years as none of us have, and I've done one cruise since I'm back. Warners have kept me in work, hotels, and this was like my second cruise, and the money, we all need money to survive. And I had to pull that out to have this scan, and this hanging over me, thinking I've got like cancer or whatever, because this is what they were checking for. And he was like, "Oh, don't worry. If it is, we'll whip it out, and and don't worry. There's always something we could do, and if that's no good, there's transplantation." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is what's going on? What's happening to me? This is out of the blue, because I feel fine. I'm not ill." And anyway, pulled the cruise out. Had to go on to do this MRI. Luckily, I'm on good terms with my consultant. I texted him a couple of times. Have you had the results? And then Thursday, he said he was having a look at them. And Friday, he rang me, and I after ringing about 5 times, and he said, "Phil, it's great news. It isn't a mass. It isn't even a lump. It's basically because I've had my gallbladder out, my bowel has moved, and it's sort of shadowing. It's sitting on top of my liver or behind it or something, and it's showing up on the scan as if it's in the liver, but it isn't." Right. So it was a total false alarm. And I'm like, Friday night, I'm like, hallelujah, it's like, but I've had 2 weeks of thinking the worst, because you do, it's all right.
Yeah.
My brother, yourself, you've been there. Don't worry, Phil, everything will be okay. You've got my mate's ringing me, my mate Taffy Spencer. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. My brother saying it'll be fine, and I'm praying for you. But nobody can. It's a fright, you don't. Unless it happens to you, you don't know, But you think it's over. You think that's it, you think it's a death sentence if you've got it, But even if it was, there is things that you can do. But in your mind, that's it. What's the point?
So how did you deal with that in your mind then? So you've come through the darkness of 18 months of COVID, and you're not going to work. You're getting older. Not going to find any more work. You have no money.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Then you get back on it, and then suddenly you've got this health scare. What did that do to your head?
Terrible, mate. I've had a real tough couple of weeks, to be honest. And really tough couple of weeks, and I know a lot of people go through this, and I know a lot of people that I know have gone through it, and I haven't even got that, thank God, you know. But I thought I had, and that's how it was looking. And like you say, do you know the first thing I was worried about? Though not myself. I said to my missus yesterday, I said, do you know the only thing I was worried about was you and the kids, because I'm not here to bring any money in anymore. You know, I wasn't. Honest to God, I didn't care. I shouldn't say that. I did care, but I wasn't worried as much as basically, how will my missus cope? How will my kids cope? How will they, you know, Christmas is coming, of course, you know what I mean? I've lost that money for the cruise. What if it is cancer? I'm going to be on months of treatment, out of work, you know, because we're all self-employed, you know, and I have been all through the lockdown. I've had a couple of grants off the government, thank the Lord, you know, and I'm really thankful for those. They've got us through, you know, they paid my mortgage, and as all of us, you know, everybody in this business in the country, you know, but every entertainer I know, because we were the first to be sort of shut down and the last to go back in entertainment, you know, whereas I had friends, and I'm not going to mention names, you know, saying to me, "Oh, I've never stopped. Work never stopped for me. You know," and I'm going,
doesn't help, does it? Doesn't help.
Yeah, good. Well done, buddy. Fantastic. Good news, you know. Yeah. But and I you know, obviously entertainment wasn't allowed. In Wales, we were in a worse position because Mark Drakeford was stricter than you in England. We weren't allowed to have like more than 2 people in the house at one point, you know.
That's shocking when it's
I was I had to live in the shed for about 3 months.
Shocking.
Yeah, I wasn't even next to the missus.
But you're fine. The health's fine now. Then,
yeah, mate. It's the biggest scare I've ever had, and then it's like I feel like a fraud now. It's like yeah. You know, I honestly thought this is the end of it, and then when he tells me, no, it was a shadow, and your bowel was sitting there, and yeah, you're fine. Carry on as you are. I went, oh,
so I can cancel your missus on Tinder. That, you know. Cancel a barrel of fish.
And you had me a pearl. You cheered me up last week. So I was feeling really. I was being all doom and gloom, and saying, "Oh, mate, I'm waiting for the results," and I was being really down as a. And he said, "Can I have your Welsh towel and your backing track for Loch Lomond?" I was on the floor.
Yeah, well, I wanted your brother to have it. Otherwise, I'm not going to get into a fight with your brother. That's my Phil. That's all I got left of him. Well, you have the towel. I'll have the.
No, you cheered me up. Brilliant, mate.
What do you think then? Because we always ask our guests every week for a top tip. What do you think is that thing that got you through? What's the thing that about your well-being that helps you that maybe you could help other people with? How do you get through it?
I'll be honest with you, and I know a lot of people will go, "Oh, yeah, all right then," you know. But it's family, my family around me. My missus was positive. She was going, "You'll be okay, and if you aren't, we'll sort something out." And I was worried about Christmas and earning money, and I wasn't really interested in what happens to. I was thinking, how am I going to earn money? How am I going to bring money in? I'm going to pay the mortgage. How is my family going to be? But they got me through it. My daughter was going, "Oh, shut up and cheer up, you miserable git," and I was having that, you know, and which I needed. My son was going, "You'll be fine." And just having them close, you know, and it was brilliant. Because I've been working cruise ships for 20, 25 years, and I'm always away, and it's tough being away from. I mean, a few of your guests, I've been listening to your show for a few weeks, and like Kev Orkian and all, brilliant, you know, and we're all in the same mindset, you know, because when you're away, yes, it's great. Yes, we're on the best stages in the world, the best lighting, the best bands. We're seeing different places every day, but you're on your own. Your family aren't there. You're not enjoying it with anybody else. Like you're not going on. You know, you're not on holiday. Everyone goes, "Oh, you're lucky on holiday. You're on holiday every week," but you're not. You go back to the cabin on your own. You're watching movies that you've seen about 400 times because they don't change them for us. So you just, you know, you walk around the ship. You go and have something to eat. You walk back to the cabin. You look at your watch. You go, "Oh, half an hour. What do I do now then?"
It's only 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So you go have another walk around and then have another meal or whatever. You know, it's so it isn't. Listen, it is. It's a fantastic job and it pays well. But it's not all rosy. It's not all roses, because I miss my family big time. And the older you get, I think you miss them more. It's and it's like his friends of mine. My mate, he's a top charge nurse, a psychiatric nurse, and he's my age, and he's retiring this year. And it's amazing. Good luck to him, and absolutely. But I can't retire. You know what I mean? Me and you'll be working till we're 90, mate.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So,
But,
Phil, listen,
yeah.
mate. That's brought our evening to an end. But don't go. I'm going to kick you out. If you hang around in the green room, I'll come talk to you in a minute.
Has it gone? It's gone out really quick, isn't it?
Well, it's like it's a wallpaper. It's very confusing.
The trouble is, you're talking all the time. That's the trouble with you. You won't let me get a word in, man. For Christ's sake.
Help me out here. Help me.
I'm trying to tell everyone, yeah.
Anything to look forward to apart from wallpapering the rest of the house? Anything you want to tell us about is coming up?
To be honest, I have got papering to do. To be honest,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got cruises. I've got quite a few. Queen Elizabeth and Queen Mary coming up, which are new to me. I know, posh. I'm gonna have to rethink my act.
You might get a new towel. You might have to get a new towel. Mate.
I'm gonna get a fresh towel. I might have half Welsh and half English on it, just so I don't upset anyone.
So I will let Gwyneth Jones have the last word. If you want to read that out, well done.
Well done, Phil. Da iawn. Now, da iawn means well done. Well done. Thank you, Gwyneth.
Thank you, Gwyneth. Dayan.
Gwyneth, get me a blanket.
So you take care. Have a great wedding anniversary. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're not
positive people around you. That's what it's all about.
Have positive people around you,
John. So I love you, mate. And you helped me a lot on the last cruise, because I was, like you say, I'm a bag of nerves half the time, and you really helped me a lot. You got me through it, and because I haven't worked for 2 years, none of us have. But what was great? Me and you helped each other, didn't we? We hit it off. It's like being on holiday with my bloody, one of my brothers. Honest to God, it was absolutely amazing.
You take care, man. We'll speak
love
soon.
Love you in a bit, buddy.
Cheers, pal. All the best. So that was the phenomenal Phil Doyle. As you can see, very positive, full of life, full of mischief, full of beans. 57, but he could easily pass for 56 and a half. But here's our thing. Phil there came up with a really great tip. Have positive people around you. And as you know, each Monday at 7 o'clock on this show, we try to come up with tips that will help, and tips that will help not just you, but the people around you. If you are struggling, we're not clinicians, we're not practitioners. If you are struggling, get help. If you know someone and they're struggling, reach out to them and see if you can be a positive influence and a positive impact on their life. My own top tips: always have positive people in your life. A little bit of exercise. I went for a walk today. That was good. I'm ready for bed now. But reframe unhelpful thoughts. Be in the present. Get a good night's sleep. Try and connect with others and live a healthy life. It's easy to say, look, I've got my missus. I love my missus. I've got great kids. I've got good friends. I'm happy. I'm healthy. But some people, that life is not that easy for them. And these are the people that could be us, because you never know what life has in store for you, what life can throw at you. So just be a bit sympathetic if you can. We've had some great tips over the week. Kane Brown, be selfish, look after yourself. Marcus, top tips, yoga. Dave, the psychologist, saying be the difference. Philip Simon saying being stubborn, stick to a task. There are practical things we can do for help. Obviously, some people need proper clinical help and an intervention. But people who don't, pick up your phone tonight. Every man that's listening to me tonight, pick up your phone, ring someone you haven't rung in a while, give them a call, reach out to a friend that you haven't spoken to in some time. I want to thank mensradiostation.com, who have loads of great shows that you can tune into every day, and womensradiostation.com, of course. WJ, our show sponsors. Natasha, who's been sitting down, personing the box and keeping people motivated and involved in the show, as she always does. But most of all, I want to thank Phil for taking the time to come on and sharing his story. This time last week, he didn't think he was going to be here. This time this week, he is very much here. And I hope that we have many, many years of friendship ahead of us. Take care, everyone, and stay safe. Well, that's the end of another episode of Reading the Signs with me, Comedy John Ryan. We're here every Monday night at 7 p.m. talking with comedians about mental wellness, mental well-being, and just trying to get the conversation going. What we're trying to do is show that it's good to talk, and we're also trying to show that everybody can go through the same experiences. A massive thank you to the WJ Group who sponsored the show, showing their commitment not just to mental well-being, but also to reaching as broad an audience as possible. It's great to be part of the mensradiostation.com family, so do check us out on the website, on social media. We'll be back next Monday. You take care. Stay safe, everybody.